Good morning, everyone. I am Oziomachukwu Ajemba from the Department of English Language and Literature, Namdazikiwe University, Oka. I am here to talk on the topic, the sentence. The sentence. And the content of this topic, the content that I will explore under this topic are, I will introduce the topic, the introduction. I'll talk about the objectives of the topic, then the main content of the topic, which include the meaning of a sentence, the parts of a sentence, types of a sentence, elements of sentence, and sentence fragments. The introduction. Sentences are the most complete elements that could be found in the grammar of English language. The study of their shapes and behavior is called syntax. The sentences are made as a result of combining together elements from words and the components like the morphemes, the phrases with their words, and the clauses with their phrases. The sentence is defined or could be referred to a word or group of words of different word classes put in such a way that they can contain subject and the predicate and still express a complete sense of thought. When we say that a sentence is often used to refer to a word or a group of words of different word classes. A word in the fact that one can come and say, come. Come is signaling somebody to move towards you. Then, if you look at that come, you notice that there is no subject here, but there is an implied subject, which is you come. You come. So that's why we say that a sentence is often used to refer to a word. Then we say also that it's referred to a group of words of different word classes. Word classes here involve nouns, pronouns, verbs, adverbs, and a whole lot of them, the word classes. So in a sentence, you see that words that make up a sentence come from different word classes, different parts of speech. So the sentence is the basic unit of thought and communication in English language, and every sentence must have a subject and a predicate. Every sentence must begin with a capital letter and end with a terminal punctuation mark. A terminal punctuation mark, a punctuation mark that ends that particular sentence, and a terminal punctuation mark includes a full stop, an exclamation mark, or a question mark, depending on the purpose which the sentence is meant to serve. For instance, if the sentence is meant to is declarative and is just trying to be asserting, the sentence will just end with a full stop. Then if the sentence is interrogative in nature, it will end with a question mark. If he's trying to has to do something with emotions, shout, you know, it will end in an exclamation mark. So implyingly, it is meant here that you can't end a question a sentence with a question mark at the same time put a question mark there. No, I said that a sentence ends with a question mark if it is an interrogative sentence. If it's a question that is asking question that is interrogating, it ends with a question mark without any full stop there after putting the question mark, or it ends with a full stop or with an exclamation mark. It must end with one of these terminal punctuation marks, not both. So that's why we say that it will start with a capital letter and end with a terminal punctuation mark, which might be a full stop, might be a question mark, or might be an exclamation mark. And we also say that a sentence must contain a finite verb, that is a verb that's limited in number, in person, and tense. And a sentence must have a subject, which is either expressed or implied. I've explained it before now, that it must have a subject, which is either explained or implied. So at the end of this unit, like I said, that the objectives of this work, the students or anybody that have listened to this lecture should be able to first know the meaning of a sentence, the types of sentence, be able to identify the important parts of a sentence, to describe the elements of a sentence, to present acceptable and possible sentence patterns in English language. We'll be able to distinguish between the structural and functional types of sentence. Should be able also to know how to construct complete sentences in English language. Okay, we go to the parts of a sentence. A sentence must basically have a subject and a predicate before it makes a complete sense. For a group of words to be called a sentence, the group of words must have a subject and a predicate. And this subject we're talking about here is what is being talked about or is being referred to in a sentence, while the predicate is what is being said or the information that is given about the thing said. We can also say that the subject is a group of words, the subject is a word or a group of words that tells what or whom the speaker or writer is talking about. The predicate makes a statement about the subject. It usually tells what the subject is doing or what is happening to the subject. For instance, and the sentences I'm going to mention now. Sentence number 1: the students living in the Imelda hostel received gifts from the vice chancellor. The students living in the Imelda hostel received gifts from the vice chancellor. In the sentence that I've just mentioned now, the subject there is the students living in Imelda hostel, while the predicate is received gifts from the vice chancellor. No. So the students living in the Imelda hostel is is telling us, the listener, what or whom the speaker or writer, especially the speaker, or what is being talked about. So that is it. Then another sentence is this: the office is large. The office is large. The subject in the sentence mentioned now is the office, the office, while the predicate is large. Another sentence is, Nnamdi Azikiwe University students deserve a bright future. They deserve a bright future. The subject here is Nnamdi Azikiwe University students. The predicate is deserve a bright future. We will go straight to the types of sentence. There are two classifications of sentence. Sentence types. We have sentence types according to how the structures of sentences are, and sentence types according to how the sentences function. So we have sentence types according to structures and sentence types according to function. Sentence types according to structure include the simple sentence, the compound sentence. We have the complex sentence and the compound complex sentences. According to this study, we will limit ourselves to these four types of sentences according to the structure. The simple sentence. This is a sentence that makes a single statement. It contains one main clause and one finite verb. It does not matter the number of words it contains, nor its length. What is important here is that it possesses only one finite verb in a single clause. Examples include, in the sentence, the student arrived early. The student arrived early. And also, in the second sentence, my parents live in Oka. My parents live in Oka. However, a simple sentence may vary in length from two words as he came or she conquered. Yes, it might vary in length from two words as he came or she conquered to as many words as the writer or the speaker can control, provided there is only one main verb and one independent clause. Yes, I said that a simple sentence may vary in length from two words, like he came is a two-word sentence, or she conquered is a two-word sentence, to as many words as the writer can control, provided there is only one main verb and one independent clause in it. Okay, we have the second type of sentence according to structure. Then we have the compound sentence. This type of sentence is made up of two simple sentences, or what we call independent clauses, joined by a coordinating conjunction to form one sentence. Each part of a compound sentence has equal status. Yes, it has equal status. One verb, one finite verb, one finite verb. One subject. One subject has equal status. That is, each can serve as a simple sentence when the conjunction is removed. Yes, when a conjunction is removed in any compound sentence, each part can serve as a simple sentence. So, connecting conjunctions are those words that loosely link two ideas by means of but, B-U-T, but, and, A-N-D, or, nor, yet, so, for. These are some examples of coordinating conjunctions: but, and, or, no, yet, so, for. So when these type of coordinating conjunctions loosely link to ideas linked to simple sentences, it forms one sentence, and which is called a compound sentence. These connecting conjunctions add little to the meaning of a sentence and could be left out. Yes, they could be left out, and the two sentences that are joined by them could stand on its own and have a complete meaning. In sentences, they join two independent clauses. Two independent clauses. So, independent clause could serve as a simple sentence because they could stand alone. They're independent; they can stand alone. So, in sentences, there's coordinating conjunctions join two independent clauses. The two simple sentences so join are no more sentences but independent clauses, and they are usually liked that they're usually linked by a coordinating conjunction. They're usually linked by a coordinating conjunction. Examples of these compound sentences are Luke bought a book and gave it to his mother. Luke bought a book and gave it to his mother. Luke bought a book, can stand on its own. He gave it to his mother, can stand on its own. And that sentence is joined by a coordinating conjunction, which is and. Remember, I said at the beginning that a subject could be expressed or implied. So in this compound sentence, we have Luke bought a book and gave it to his mother. And the second independent clause, which is gave it to his mother, a subject is really implied there. Luke gave it to his mother. So we have Luke bought a book, which is a simple sentence. I join here, it's now an independent clause, and gave it to his mother. He gave it to his mother. There is an implied subject there. So the two independent clauses can stand on their own, but when joined together by a coordinating conjunction, we call the sentence a compound sentence. We have another sentence here, another example here. The man arrived the man arrived in town and went to the king's palace. The man arrived in town and went to the king's palace. The man arrived in town and he went to the king's palace. We have two simple sentences there, joined by a coordinating conjunction. And like I say, when they are joined by a coordinating conjunction, we call them independent clauses. So this sentence, the man arrived in town and went to the king's palace, is a typical example of a compound sentence. We have another example of a compound sentence. The boy came in and Emilie shut the door. The boy came in and Emilie shut the door. We have the boy came in, a simple sentence. We have Emilie shut the door, a simple sentence. And these two simple sentences can stand on their own and make a complete meaning. These two simple sentences are joined by a coordinating conjunction. The boy came in, joined to Emilie shut the door with a coordinating conjunction. And so we have the boy came in and Emilie shut the door. And this is a typical example of a compound sentence, two independent clauses joined by a coordinating conjunction. Then we have another compound sentence, which is Ugomma failed four of her courses, so she repeated a year. We can easily say Ugomma failed four of her courses, and it makes a complete meaning. And we can simply say Ugomma repeated a year. It can easily make a complete sense. But here we decided to join the two simple sentences with a coordinating conjunction, which is so, S-O, so. We join the sentence, a coordinating conjunction, so, and it became a compound sentence. Another type of sentence, according to structure, is what we call complex sentence. What we call complex sentence. This type of sentence also makes more than one statement. It has more than one verb, but the clauses are joined with a subordinate conjunction, which makes one part of the sentence subordinate or dependent. It is made up of one independent clause and one or more subordinate clauses. A dependent or a subordinate clause A dependent or a subordinate clause depends for its meaning on the main clause. Yes, you heard me very well. A dependent or a subordinate clause depends for its meaning on the main clause. It cannot stand by itself and make a complete meaning. Examples of the complex sentence include: she failed the exam because she did not study hard. She failed the exam because she did not study hard. Here we have the main clause and one subordinate clause here. The main clause, which is she failed the test or she failed the exam. Whichever way, she failed the exam. Then the subordinate clause here is because she did not study hard. So we have a complex sentence here, which is she failed the exam because she did not study hard. Then we have another complex sentence, which is I will buy you a vehicle. I will buy you a car if you marry me. I will buy you a car if you marry me. I will buy you a car is the main clause here. If you marry me is a subordinate clause here. Subordinate clause is if you marry me, and if there is a subordinate conjunction. So we have I will buy you a car if you marry me is a complex sentence here. Then we have another complex sentence that has one main clause and two subordinate clauses. We have it here. When he spoke to me, I refused to answer him because he was very impolite. When he spoke to me, I refused to answer him because he was very impolite. So we have a longer sentence here, but it's still a complex sentence because when he spoke to him is a subordinate clause. I refuse to answer him is not a subordinate clause, it's a main clause. Because he was very impolite is a subordinate clause also. So because he was very impolite, it's dependent on I refuse to answer him. When he spoke to me is also dependent on I refuse to answer him. So we have a complex sentence here, one main clause and two subordinate clauses here. Then we have a compound complex sentence. This is the fourth sentence type according to structure. Occasionally, some sentences are constructed in such a way that they have two or more main clauses and at least one subordinate clause or more. I say it again, that occasionally some sentences are constructed in such a way that they have two or more main clauses and at least one subordinate clause or more. Those sentences, when formed like these, are called compound sentences. Yes. When a sentence is formed in such a way that it has two or more main clauses and at least one subordinate clause or more, the sentence is called a compound complex sentence. We have example here. Chibike licked the knife, which cut his tongue, and he bled profusely. Chibike licked the knife, which cut his tongue, and he bled profusely. Another sentence that is showing compound complex sentence that's showing characteristics of a compound complex sentence is this. While Uchenna swept the room, Adora dusted the furniture, and Dara mopped the floor. While Uchenna swept the room, Adora dusted the furniture, and Dara mopped the floor. That's a typical example of a compound complex sentence. The reason is this. We have a subordinate clause followed by the main clause and another main clause. Yes, we have two main clauses here. Adora dusted the furniture, Dara mopped the floor. These are main clauses. joined by a coordinate conjunction there, and we have a subordinate clause, which is while Ngozi swept the floor, So that is it, the compound complex. So we now move to the sentence types according to function. We have sentence types according to function. So sentences can be classified based on the functions they perform. According to J.L. Austin, 1962, every utterance is an act or an action performed. Yes. In other words, when we speak, we perform certain actions either by simply declaring or stating or asking questions, issuing out command or order, or just expressing our feelings. So, based on it, we have sentence types according to functions. So, according to functions, we have those types of sentence. We have declarative sentence, we have interrogative sentence, we have imperative sentence, we have exclamatory sentence. But I will just explain um, I'll just explain these types of sentence according to functions. I'll just explain them briefly. We have the first one, which is declarative sentence. This type of sentence states facts, or it makes assertion. It makes a statement and ends with a full stop. The normal order of this sentence is for the subject to occur at the beginning of the sentence, but for some reasons, the subject may appear at other places in the sentence. For instance, Mr. Chris is ugly. I'm sorry to use the name, but the name, I meant nothing to use the name. Mr. Chris is ugly. The second sentence is Nnamdi Azikiwe University is a federal university. Or you simply say Unizik is a federal university. Then one can also say, down the street, athletes run. You see, normally the subjects are normally occur at the beginning, but this last one, it did occur at the beginning. It appeared at other place in the sentence. Down the street, athletes run. That is a typical example of a declarative sentence. Then we have interrogative sentence. This type of sentence is written in an inverted order. Sometimes it starts with a verb, and sometimes it begins with an adverb. It is used to ask questions. Examples: where is Nnamdi Azikiwe University? Okay, it's a question. It's interrogating. So we have another sample of an interrogative sentence. Where did you buy your bag? Where did you buy your bag? Then someone can even come up and say, who is Miss Anambra State? All these sentences I made, all of them ended up in a question mark. The terminal punctuation mark, which is a question mark, or they ended up there without the full stop because they are interrogating. So the above sentences, all the sentences I've mentioned now are interrogative sentences and therefore require answers from the recipients of the question. Yes, they require answers. Then we have imperative sentence. This type of sentence is used to issue out command or order. For instance, issue out command or order. For instance, pay your tax. Pay your tax. Husbands, love your wives. Husbands, love your wives. Children, obey your parents. They used to issue out command or order, So, besides, imperative sentences can consist of one verb and still qualify as a sentence. Yes, they can still have one verb and still qualify as a sentence. That's why Eka, 1994, identified 4 types of imperative based on this, whereby he talked about the mild imperative, talked about the forceful imperatives, he talked about the negative imperatives, he talked about the single word imperatives. All these were the types of imperatives according to Eka, 1994. The mild imperatives, according to him, he said that these are commands which have been rendered mild by the addition of please to show politeness. This could be seen in this sentence. Please sit down. Give me your pen, please. Their sentences are different from polite requests, which involve changing the structure of the imperative to questions or statements like, will you sit down, please? These are polite requests. Will you sit down, please? This is different from please sit down. And it's different from give me your pen, please. So we have forceful imperatives. According to Eka, he said forceful imperatives are sharp and tend to suggest that the speaker is irritated. In the written form, forceful imperatives end with exclamation mark instead of the full stop used to end my imperatives. And example of a typical forceful imperative is go out before I shut the door. Go out before I shut the door. Remove your shoes from the rug. Remove your shoes from the rug. Some forceful imperatives can be quoted with pleasantness, with the addition of do and let, as in, do bring the car before noon. Yeah, do bring the key before noon, or do bring the car before noon. Or you can say, let us meet today at 3 p.m. Let us meet today at 3 p.m. So, like I say, that some forceful imperatives can be quoted with pleasantness with the addition of do, or, and let. Then another type of imperative we have is negative imperatives. So, negative imperatives emphasize what should not be done. Yes, you heard me. What should not be done. They usually begin with the word don't, as seen in the following sentences. Don't enter the room without knocking. Do not enter the room without knocking. Do not cross the field. Do not cross this door. We also have single word imperatives. Single word imperatives are usually verbs which always have the implied subject you. Yes, they have implied subject you. For instance, in this sentence, you have shut the door, shut the door, shut the door. And also we have stand up. In shut the door, we have the single word verb there, shut. Then in stand up, we have the single verb there, we have stand. But there is an evidence of implied subject, which is you shut the door, and you stand up. So we have single word imperatives, and single imperatives are usually verbs which always have the implied subject. Then we have the last on the list under the sentences according to function. We have the last on the list, we have exclamatory sentence. This type of sentence is used to express surprise or strong emotions. For instance, what a beautiful day. You made it. Help. All these are instances of exclamatory sentences. Then, like I said, there will be just trying to have a simple look, not will not delve into it much. We'll just try to talk a little about it. Sentence fragments. Every sentence should have a subject and a predicate and must express complete thought. Yes. Therefore, any group of words without a subject and the verb and which does not express complete thought is a sentence fragment, or what we call a fragmentary sentence. A fragment is a piece of something. Yes. It is therefore incomplete. So when either the subject or a predicate, or both, as in the predicate here will mean verb, or both are missing, both the subject and predicate are missing, the group of words do not express a complete thought, and it is therefore not a sentence. Besides, an incomplete sentence is called a sentence fragment. When one writes, when you write, make sure that each sentence is complete unless you want to achieve a certain effect. Sentence fragments can be used to emphasize a point or to convey a tone which might be lost in a complete sentence. Let's listen to the following group of words below. In the following group of words, some are fragments while some are sentences. The first one is hoping to see you again. Hoping to see you again here is a fragment. Yes, it lacks the subject and the predicate. Yes, it didn't sound like a sentence. So hoping to see you again is a fragment. Then we have another group of words, which is the registrar interviewed the candidate. This is a sentence. It has the subject and it has the verb. Yes, the registrar interviewed the candidate. We have another group of words. Received the mail this morning. Received the mail this morning is a fragment. Yes. We aren't told who received the mail, whether it's he or she, whether it's Ozioma or Ngozi that received the mail. We just say the group of words just read, received the mail this morning. It's a fragment. Then another group of words we have is with kind personal regards. With kind personal regards is a fragment too. Yeah. Then the last one is the dean taught the students. The dean taught the students. This is a typical sentence. It is not a fragment. The dean we are talking about here is the subject. Taught is a verb. And the students, so taught the students is the predicate. And the main thing the predicate we're talking about here is the verb. So this group of words has the subject and the verb. The dean taught the students. So that is fragment for you. Then we have different types of fragments. We have the dependent word fragment. We have the ing fragment. We have that type of fragment. Like I said, that we have the dependent word fragment. We have the ing fragment. And we have a group of words without finite verb that are fragments. Like I said, that I'm going to just make mention of the word sentence fragment that I'm not going to delve into it. So for us just know that we have sentence fragment, that is not every group of words, a combination of group of words that we see that we call a sentence, that we have some that are fragments. Then we have sentence elements. We have sentence elements. Sentence elements. Every sentence must have a basic structure in order to express a complete thought. Yeah. This basic structure of a sentence we are talking about may consist of a subject, the subject, which include a noun phrase or a pronoun, and a predicate, which include verb or a verb phrase. The subject, which is what the sentence is talking about, while the predicate is the rest of the sentence apart from the subject. Then the subject is seen as one separate component of a sentence, while the predicate can be divided into 4 different sentence components, though not all these components of the predicate are present in every simple sentence. Yeah, it's not all of them that are present in every simple sentence. These 4 sentence components and the predicate are verb, object, complement, and adverbial. These different sentence components, the subject of the sentence, and the 4 sentence components found in the predicate are what we call the sentence element. I say it again. The subject, the verb, the object, the complement, and the adverbial constitute what we call the sentence elements. Like I said, that these 4 sentence elements are not compulsorily seen in a simple sentence, but what is compulsory in a simple sentence is there must be a subject, and normally there is a verb. Sometimes you don't see an object, but there is normally a subject and a verb. Okay, every sentence has the basic structure containing a subject and a verb, the SV, what we call the SV. The S is the subject and the verb is the V. A complement completes the meaning expressed by a verb. Verbs are classified according to the type of the importance, the type of the parts of a sentence that they complete. Complements, the verbs are classified according to the parts of sentence and the complements they take as transitive. If if they take an object, we have the transitive and we have the intransitive, or what we call the linking. But like I said, I will just make mention of what we call the sentence elements. So, like I said, that verbs are classified according to the type of object they take. You know, so they have, if they take object, we have the transitive. They don't take, we have what we call the intransitive and what we call the linking verbs. In conclusion, the English sentence cannot be spoken or written anyhow. Yes, you cannot write or speak or speak English sentence anyhow. It follows particular rules and regulations. Yeah. Again, the combination of simple, compound, complex, and compound complex sentences makes communications in English flow smoothly. Also, the declarative, interrogative, imperative, and exclamatory sentences all combine to make communication in English very meaningful, very coordinated. So, thank you. This is the end of this lecture. Thank you for listening. I am once again Oziomachukwu Ajemba, Department of English Language and Literature, Nnamdi Azikiwe University, Awka. Thank you.